Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and as I like to remind you each and every day, it expands our base. The political world is full of turbulence. The reason? Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So let's get right to the question of Joe Biden. Despite reports that Joe Biden has consulted or been examined by an expert on Parkinson's disease, Joe Biden's White House says he is not being treated for Parkinson's. He is fully able and he is going to run. And Joe Biden has said the same thing. Democratic members of the House met today to try to discuss what they should do. It appears, based on the early reports this morning, that they have decided to back Joe Biden. And that, my friends, puts to rest a serious question. Will Joe Biden be the Democratic nominee for president? The answer is yes. Now, some will agree, some will disagree. Some will say, but we can't go with Biden, he's not strong enough. All the speculation aside, as long as Joe Biden is determined to be the Democratic nominee for president, he will be the Democratic nominee. Remember, the delegates that he has, who have been selected by we the people, are bound to Joe Biden unless he releases them. And it is clear, as of this morning, that Joe Biden is determined to proceed to be the Democratic candidate for president. Now, what does that mean for down ticket? We don't know. All we know is that the Democrats have decided to draw a line. They are saying America has a choice, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, and they are determined to proceed with Joe Biden. That is as of this morning. This week will be a tough week for Joe Biden. He has the NATO meeting, and he is going to have to reassure our NATO allies that he's right there, Johnny on the spot, if you will. In addition, on Thursday, Joe Biden is planning a major press conference. No slip-ups allowed at the press conference. He has to be clear, precise, and dynamic. All of those prerequisites in order to ensure that talk about replacing Joe Biden vanishes. At the same time, the Democrats are determined to defeat Donald Trump. Make no mistake, the Democratic Party is united in this goal. They believe that Donald Trump, a 34-time convicted felon, a man who has been cited by a court for sexual harassment, a man who has proven to be untrustworthy and, frankly, fomenting violence at every turn, that this man must be stopped. Now, the Republicans have produced a platform. I have a book in my library of the platforms of the political parties. Let me tell you, platforms mean very little. The most conservative platform ever adopted in an American political situation in the 20th century was a Democratic platform of 1932. Barry Goldwater once said he'd be very comfortable running on that platform. Well, let me assure you, Franklin Roosevelt won the election, and the platform vanished. You want to put yourself to sleep at night? Read party platforms. What is clear is that Donald Trump Jr. was correct. The Republican Party, as we once knew it, is gone. It is now the party of Donald Trump, reflecting his attitudes on the question of choice and, well, so many other issues. And so, the last key question that needs to be answered in this campaign is who will Donald Trump take as his running mate? And we're going to find out in the next few days. A lot of speculation, a lot of discussion. He's going to hold a joint rally with Marco Rubio today, but there are others, like Doug Burgum, who seems to be emerging, Tim Scott, who is emerging, and of course, Senator Vance of Ohio, who remains a strong contender. All of the above are devoted to Donald Trump and his approach to politics and issues. There will be a lockstep in this regard. This is a serious moment in the history of our country because we are about to enter a presidential campaign with two candidates who most Americans would rather not see on the ballot. But that's not the way it works. The way it works now is that the two candidates appear to be solidly in place, and the American people will now have to choose directly between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It's going to be an interesting campaign, and I'm going to tell you it's going to be one of the dirtiest campaigns we've ever witnessed. We already can see those configurations emerging. So let's hold on to our seats, get ready for a dynamic campaign, and recognize that unless something happens which alters the political horizon, Joe Biden will be the Democratic nominee for president, Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee for president, and the American people in this campaign will truly have a choice, not an echo. You couldn't ask for two more different candidates. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand. And of course, you can interact with me on Facebook and on LinkedIn. I do want to know what you think. And special appreciation to the one person involved in this podcast who always gets my vote, Go-Go Zoger, the producer of Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you tomorrow.